May 27th. We received one of the biggest surprise updates to Warzone since Season 3 Reloaded dropped. And here it was. We had the change to the AMAX, which nerfed it, and we had the change to the FARA, which buffed it. So my mission was simple. Work out the next best class for the meta shift that we've now seen in Season 3 Reloaded. And that's where it brings us to today. We are here, and I have got for you guys the best fine-tuned FARA class. And once you guys have used this class, you're not going to want to go back to the AMAX. You're going to want to go back to the QBZ. You're not going to want to go back to the Growl. You're going to want to stick with this bad boy. So let me show you guys what I've got going on here. So this is the Warzone weapons screen here. We're going to go into Edit Loadout, and we're going to look at this class right here. It's the FARA and the LC-10. Now, the LC-10 we all know, absolute beauty of a weapon, really, really good. Very good sustain, long range damage, sort of 40 to 60 meters. Still competes really, really well. One of the fastest TTKs on an SMG. Accuracy, it just doesn't move. And then, on top of that, you've got the ammo capacity and the low recoil. It's an amazing weapon. But the new FARA is exactly the same. So what has happened with the FARA recently to make it be in this AR category now? Well, we went from the double AR meta, which was where people were running things like the AMAX or the Krig 6 with a close range FARA as the SMG option, essentially, with that weapon. But now we have moved on to what I would call the FARA's Age of AR Supremacy. This thing is incredible. The build we've got for this bad boy is on screen for you guys now. We've got the GRU suppressor. So what this does is allow us to get that little bit extra range. So we're not using a regular suppressor because we're wanting that extra damage range, extra bullet velocity. So that's why we're going for the GRU suppressor. We've got the Liberator barrel on here, which is at bullet velocity. We've got the SUSAT multi-zoom. Now, some people might not like this scope. Bearing in mind with this recent update we got on May 27th as well, all of the optics were changed. So we got the Axle 3 times, which is now actually a 3 times instead of essentially zoomed to a 4 times. So you've got basically a VLK alternative, which is pretty nice, but for Cold War weapons. You've then got the 4 times, which is actually a 4 times, which is essentially what the aerial Axle 3 times was before. It's now the 4 times. Makes sense. A lot cleaner on the scopes, a lot more visibility through them, take up less of your screen. Really good change from Raven software there. You've then got SUSAT multi-zoom. Now, this has also been overhauled to make it a lot more cleaner, but on top of that, it's also now one of the lowest visual recoil guns in the game. So if you're wanting to get a gun where you can absolutely laser people and it feels like the gun isn't moving, SUSAT's really going to help with that. It also gives you the option to go from 2 to 4 times scopes. When you're up close, you've got the 2 times. When you are further away, you've got that 4 times option. Makes it a really, really strong contender for making this gun really good. And obviously with the low visual recoil, it feels like you're on something crazy with this. You've then got the Spetsnaz speed grip. That gives us just that horizontal recoil control, so basically all you're doing is going up and down with the gun, and you can control vertical recoil very easily, and sprinting move speed is up, which is really, really nice. Added little bonus there. You've then got the Spetsnaz 60 round on, gives you a little bit of ADS reduction, but not a huge amount compared to the Fast Mags. Fast Mags is by about 25%, this is only around 15, so it's much more worth having this on. Reload quickness obviously goes down a little bit, but it does give you that 60 round mag, so it's definitely worth having. So for any of you guys that are now wondering what you should be using in this meta shift after we've got rid of the AMAX, we are now looking at the FARA. Trust me on this one, guys. This is going to be an up-and-coming weapon. You'll see a ton of content creators, pro players, streamers, everybody using this weapon very, very soon. A lot of people focusing on the Krig 6, also a very, very good weapon, but just with a visual recoil that feels like nothing with the SUSAT on the FARA, it's definitely worth trying out. I'll show you guys the LC-10, which I've paired with this. So we've got the Agency Suppressor, the Task Force Barrel, Raider Stock, Stanag 55 round, and the Airborne Elastic Wrap. Now, this is again the same class that I've shown you guys a few times before, so I'm not going to go over it in a huge amount of detail, but just know that that is a really solid setup for the LC-10. Gives it low recoil, low TTK, very, very high versatility, so you can jump around, you can move very fast with it. Awesome weapon. Perks are EOD, Overkill, and Amped. You've then got a Thermite on and a tactical heartbeat sensor, but you can change that out if maybe you want a stun grenade or you want a flash. And then obviously on the Thermites here, you can change that for maybe a Semtex or C4. Entirely up to you what you want to run there, but those are the options that I've gone with. The mission here was clear and simple. We'd fine-tuned the weapon class. We'd fine-tuned the perks, the lethals, the tacticals. We now had to test this bad boy out. So as you can see from the gameplay here, we've done some testing in-game. We've used this weapon a few times along with the LC-10. Both of these weapons are doing exceptionally well. The FARA is cracking people at an insane rate of fire as well as a really, really nice recoil, which is what you're going to want from an AR. You can then switch to the LC-10 if they push in, but equally, because it's a 2 to 4 times, if you zoomed into the 4, you just zoom back out to the 2, and you can track people as they are pushing into you, which is a great, great advantage of that SUSAT scope. If you're not a fan of the SUSAT, you can throw on the Axle 3 times. It's going to be a lot cleaner now. You're going to be able to see things a lot more clearer through this scope. But as I say there, you don't have that versatility of being able to zoom far out, shoot them, and then track them inwards with the scope before switching to the SMG, which is what makes this gun absolutely beautiful. Along with the low visual recoil, of course, it makes this gun great. Now, what you're going to want to make sure you're doing with this class is playing to the advantages of it, so getting those longer range fights than people who are using the 3 times, for example. You're going to be able to hit accurate shots at longer ranges, really, really nice. Because you've got the cruise suppressor on, you've got high bullet velocity, which means it's going to be a lot more like hit scan when you're shooting the weapon. You're going to have pretty much shots on target wherever you're actually shooting. Maybe a slight bit of delay depending if they're in a vehicle, but not much compared to some of the other weapons we've seen. And because obviously you've got that extra damage range, you're going to be able to get those shots and actually do a lot more damage at those higher ranges with the 4 times scope on, which is really, really nice. It's going to give you guys a huge, huge advantage, and it's going to mean you can win a lot more gunfights because you're going to be cracking people, wasting their armor cells, if nothing else, before they actually come in. Even if they fully re-armor, they've only got a chance to then do it once or twice more, particularly if you're in solos. They're going to fully armor up, but they're already going to be low, so they're going to be playing more cautiously. If you're in duos, quads, or trios, you've got a lot more players to deal with. If you can manage to get cells off a few of them, 2 might push by themselves, for example. If you're in quads while 2 heal up, then you can do a 4v2, easily win that battle and go on for the next 2 then, and it just makes the game a lot more easier for you guys if a couple of you are running a setup like this, particularly if you're pairing it with someone who's sniping. They can maybe get the crack and you can get the instant finish on these people because you're going to be able to down them in 4 to 5 bullets, even at these long ranges with this setup, which is really, really nice. When you get to extreme long ranges, you are going to take 6, 7, 8 bullets, but again, with the rate of fire on this and the low recoil, you're going to be able to laser those kills very, very easily, which is what makes this gun insane. Now, a lot of people have been looking for a new meta replacement as such to take over where the AMAX spot was taking sort of supremacy over the AR field, and I really feel like the FARA now has come up through into this spot. You're going to look at the Krig 6, you're going to look at the FARA, you're going to look at the FFAR for certain things, but that's going to be more of a sniper support. So I think the 2 reigning leaders currently, AMAX is still in there, obviously still a very, very good solid weapon. For those of you that don't like the AMAX or want to try something new, Krig 6, and obviously today's speciality, the FARA, is going to serve you guys really, really well. You're going to see a ton of damage coming out with this. When you pair it with something like the LC-10 or the MAC-10, you're going to get a ton of damage, ton of versatility amongst the class, and it's going to be a ton of fun to use. You're definitely going to get wins with this class if you are good at the game. You're able to get those kills locked down and you play to your advantages. Obviously, you're going to struggle against snipers from time to time, so if you haven't got someone in your squad sniping, or you're playing solos or solos in duos, etc., then you're just going to want to make sure that you're holding down those angles where you're able to, if you do find a sniper, challenge them and be able to get that shots off without being at a too long a distance that you're not going to be able to hit them accurately. So just play to your advantage. You know how well you can control recoil, but other than that, it's going to serve to be a very, very good class and hopefully get you guys some wins that you deserve. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you do drop a like down below on the videos. It really does help me out, and let me know in the comments what you think about the FARA now. Do you like it now more that it's an AR build, or did you prefer it when it was a more SMG type build? Let me know down below. If you are new to the channel and you want to find your way back to see all the other videos that I'm going to be uploading, make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below and turn notification bells on so that you don't miss a single upload. And other than that, thank you very much for watching. Take care, have a great day, and peace.